go around banging a drum looking for free kit in Rwanda. Kit from kind of a smaller manufacturer, and they'll kind of come out and look at it out for, you know, I've got a really nice Aussie jacket from one of the commies, and a really nice Ghana jacket from one of the commies.
It's no different across different sports as well either, when you've got these sort of setups at major championships. In a different life, I used to manage the Great Britain Elite Triathlon team across all sorts of different disciplines. We used to travel I used to travel with them to World and European Championships around the world, and our kit was really expensive. We used to give them all their kit, and on the last day, I'd be looking around and I just can't believe you lot have given it. You know, this is including all the elite athletes, just giving away all their kit, and you look what they've got back. It's very nice looking. You look at the quality and think, well, we've wasted our money here, unless they've won a medal, of course, which they often did. But yeah, there is that thought. Once you know how much money it's cost.
Well, the other thing, Jez, is that if you ride regularly for a team, you end up with so much kit. Because if you ride for a national squad every year, you end up with usually a full kit issue every year. And if one of the bigger teams, a full kit issue will be, you know, 30 items of clothing.
Yeah. And it's also knowing what to do with that as well, isn't it? Because I know some people will then give... A nice thing to do, I think, is what some of the riders will do is they'll give their kit away to the local cycling club and that sort of thing. That's really inspiring. We're just seeing another rider dropping off the back. This is Derek Chavaria of Belize. He's the only entrant for them in the race as well, and he will try and he could do with finding some other riders dropping off the back and then ride their way back in, but it's going to be a big ask as well.
Right on the top, and then there's the descent down into the bottom of the Kimihurura climb, so he's not without hope. But the problem is, if you got dropped there, he gets back on, he's going to get dropped again in Kimihurura, and that probably is going to be the end of him. But you get pulled out 15 minutes down is the cut off for being pulled out. So you ride another couple of laps, which would get him to 4 or 5 laps to go. But once you're in that dangling position, there's not a lot of space. The best chance for recovery you get is for that few kilometres after the finishing line, when it is generally descent. So you might be able to recover there, but there's very, very little time to recover between the top of the golf course climb and Kimihurura, the cobbled climb.
Last man hanging on to the back there, Hutch in the blue jersey, is the under-23 world champion from this week, Jakob Söderqvist. He's the only one. The South African just in front of him is Warren Moolman. Warren Moolman, one of a 4-rider team for South Africa. Söderqvist, slightly surprisingly to me, there he is with his red bottle hanging out of his back pocket. The only entrant for Sweden.
I think he's maybe coming back on from the cars.
Yeah.
I don't think he's struggling particularly back there. Certainly he wasn't expecting to be struggling. I'm kind of taking him a little bit from his interview at his own assessment, because he seemed to reckon this was a course that suited him not too badly.
Hey, Hutch, sorry to interrupt. We've just seen the face there of Kozoriz. Now, he is illustrating what I was trying to talk about earlier. When I was very, very young, I had an amazing coach in the shape of Graham McNamee, who kind of guided me through my early cycling days. And he used to say to me, and I love this, he used to say to me, if you're going down, go down with your hair on fire. In other words, if you know you're in the deep end, start swimming like crazy and do something special. And Kozar is there. He's in the pits already. He's out of the race, but he's smiling. Why is he smiling? Because so far he's been the most exciting attacking rider in this race. And if you can, this is just my own personal take, right? If you can, you're better to have done something, because you're going to end up in that tent anyway if we've not seen you at all. I know you're saying what you said earlier. I understand what you said earlier about in terms of development of cycling, your national team. Well, you survived to lap 7. Well done. That's great development. But I like what Kozar has done.
I kind of agree with you, but if you want to get on and get up through the federation and get to more events, a great idea is to give the federation what they asked for. If it were up to me, if it was just up to me, I would agree with you. I'd say go out, try to do something, try to make something happen. Because it might happen. It's like getting in the break in any race. The chances are you're going to get caught. But once in a while, the break doesn't get caught. If you get out, get up the road, you never know.
Yeah.
They might forget you're there.
Well, particularly as we say, just to remind people, I'll keep it about every hour, I'll intersperse this to remind people, no race radios in this race. So there is still that chance they might not know you're there, because these riders, the only input to their brain, and it sounds odd, but the only input to their brains is what they see, smell, and hear, and taste, and touch. I know that. I understand senses. But crucially, they have not got an earpiece in their ear telling them what's going on at all. So in terms of tactics and understanding of who is where in the race, an awful lot of the riders on our screen right now, in fact, there will be plenty of riders in that peloton who don't know if there is a breakaway still or not. I'm sure that's the case, you know, Hutch.
There'll certainly be some. I think the big teams will. The big teams will know.
Of course they will. Of course they will.
I imagine most of the group know. Most of the group will know the groups together because, of course, they go through the pits every 15 kilometres. So they should have been told by their pit that the race is back together. Just depends a bit how good a job the pit were doing, because, of course, there's a question of how much experience there is among the pit team.
Hutch, having watched this lap now for the last, what, 3.5 laps as we are now, which of these two climbs do you think is doing more damage? I know that the cobbles on the Kimihurura are causing bike issues and what have you, but where do you think there's the potential for, if it is to be a Jarno Vidar explosion or a, you know, that sort of thing? Where does it come on this course?
He's Belgian, he'll go on the cobbles, won't he? It's the law.
Well, yeah, you'd think so.
I think the cobble climb will be doing more damage, not least of all because there's so little recovery between the Côte de Golf and the Côte de Kimihurura. There's very little time to kind of get your life back in order. If you struggle on the Côte de Golf, as we saw the Belizean rider, I've forgotten his name now, sorry, we saw him struggling off the back. He might have got back on, but he's had so little time to take a drink, take a breath, recover a little bit, and maybe move up the bunch a tiny bit. He's still going to, if he's back on, he's still going to be right at the back, and the Belgians are at the front pushing this again. So that's very difficult to do. So it'll be this climb that'll be doing the harm, I'm pretty sure.
Derek Chavarria, it was from Belize.
Thank you.
That's no problem. That is the entirety of the Belgian team. They're still doing their thing at the front. They are controlling this race by setting their hard tempo at the front. It's still Tim Rex on the front. Will it pay off? Will all these early laps of doing all this pacing and preventing there being a breakaway, will it pay off in a Jarno Vidar win? Or a win for one of the others, but Vidar is consistently sitting at the back of that group. Yeah,
they are here for Jarno Vidar, absolutely, for sure. It can be dangerous doing this, to taking a race that gets on from the very beginning. It's a long old race, and you can run out of personnel.
This is Etienne Tuyizere of Rwanda, looking like this might be the end of his time in the peloton. It's quite a long way down the climb at this point. We're seeing the percentage bottom right. It's useful to see. It's not quite as steep as the steepest part of the Côte de Kigali Golf, but it is longer, and as Hutch has said, the cobbles themselves add to the difficulty quite considerably.
Yeah, it's steepest. Both climbs actually are at their steepest at the bottom. And in both instances, you go around a sharp left-hander and onto the bottom of the climb, and it immediately kicks up. So that is, if we're looking for a springboard for an attack, that's probably where it comes. There is another little climb in the middle of the circuit. It's only kind of 200 or 300 meters at 6%. At 12 kilometers to go, I've got a note of it. 300 kilometers, 6% at 12 k's to go, which is another sneaky little spot somebody might pick. 12 kilometers to go. That's quite a nice distance, because otherwise, if you're going in the last lap, you're going at 6 kilometers to go, or at 1.5 kilometers to go. Quite close,